Gary, you must be thinking loudly because your face keeps showing up.
My face keeps showing up?
Keeps
Oh, there it
taking
is.
over them.
You know what it is? You know what it is Gary, you've got a real sensitive mic. Remember I told you earlier you're coming across real loud, but you have
That could be it.
well, you got a real sensitive mic and it's picking up. I don't know if
Breathing.
you got the AC going on
It's
in the
probably
background.
picking up the speakers. You guys are talking to yourself.
I think that it sounds like it's picking up maybe some kind of wind. Do you have a fan going on or is the AC on?
Yes, I got a fan right above my head.
That's what it is. It's picking up the fan, I think. But no biggie. I don't care.
See if I can change the angle of the camera
Of the dangle.
because it's on the USB cam that I'm
The
using.
angle of the dangle.
Oh.
I won't go any further with that. Something about mass, if I'm not mistaken.
Crap, what did I do here? I need to move that over to
Thank you, Kenneth. I'm trying to take roll.
we should have done that already. God.
I continue on. I'll just get it next time you bring it back around.
Oh, okay. There. Let's go to here. And come on. Oh, wait a second. Stop. Stop. Oh, man. How do I pause this?
It is.
No, it's not.
No. There it is. That's pause.
3rd Infantry.
All right, gentlemen, if you would mute yourselves and please rise for the playing of our national anthem. And if you mute yourself, would you please sing at home?
No sound.
Oh, great. All right. Thank you. Let me get out of that. Thank you. Show volume. Nope. Details. Nope. Don't want that either. Nope. Don't want that either. Stop. All right. Escape. Come on. There it is. X that out. Stop share. Alrighty. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Let's try this again. And I'm going to select the media player. That works out better. Okay, can you hear that? All right. If you gentlemen mute yourself, please. I hear somebody in the background. I don't know who it is. There we go. Okay. And I need to get rid of. Oh, come on. No.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red bright spread their
Thank you, guys. Security, let's see. Nope. Okay, good. Alrighty. Okay, first off, does anybody need any help? Dennis, what kind of help? We know you need help, but
No, I don't need any help. I was just actually reading Ivana's message to me, chat to me. But I'm doing pretty good so far. Thank you.
okay, good, good. Let's see. Does anybody know of anybody that needs any help?
I have a need for some prayers.
Yeah, Gordon.
My 41-year-old stepson has had a second round of cancer that has come back, and he went through two rounds of chemo this time, and it had been in remission for about 8 months, and now it's come back and it's spread. It's now in his abdomen and on his pelvis and on his hip. 2 rounds of chemo kept the hip the same, and the other tumors are growing. And this is a rare form of cancer. I'm sure some carcinoma, something. I don't know exactly the name, but it's growing pretty fast. So
What is his
prayers
first
for
name?
him.
I'm sorry, Gordon. What is his
Nicholas.
first name? Nicholas?
Nicholas,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Gordon, for bringing that up. And once again, you know, I ask this question every week. Does anyone need any help? And does anyone know of anybody that needs any help? And this is actually probably the most serious part of our meeting, because between we don't have a chance to really socialize as much as we do when we're in person. So this gives us an opportunity to share that. So the barbershop brotherhood is very strong, and we know that, and that's something that we like to protect. So anybody else know of anybody that needs any help? You could just wave your hand. All right, good. I appreciate that. Let's take a look. Just a reminder, if you have a question during the meeting, just raise your hand, kind of do this so that we could see whether it's me or Jim that will be taking over the meeting, or your section leader. Also, Fred brought up Facebook and other social media stuff at our board meeting. And when we're going to ask the chorus, when you see something posted on Facebook, because I'm assuming you all are friends of the chorus on Facebook, do Fred a big favor, as well as the chorus. Press like that you like it, unless you don't like us. But I'm sure you all do. Press like, and then also share that post on your Facebook page, so that especially when once a week Fred puts out something, how we're going to have a meeting, and come join us and all that kind of stuff. So, and the whole idea is to get as many people here as we can, because we love barbershop. That's kind of like one of those things that we do. So we like sharing this, and we've always said it's a best kept secret, and it shouldn't be any secret. So let's try and do that. So press like, and then press share, and share with everybody. Yeah, Dennis.
Is there a limitation on how many people can join our group, our Zoom group?
100.
100.
Okay.
So if you
Thanks.
can get me 50 guests, we would still be shy.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, but it would be great. It really would be. And the whole idea is, let's share this with everyone. So all that said, all right, we have, let's see. One thing I wanted to bring up to you guys is I want you to keep track of what's going on in the society. I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see, this time I got it all right. This is the Barbershop Harmony Society website, as you can see. And there we go. And there's no reason for me to, you don't have to hear anything. What I want you to do is come to barbershop.org. Hey, Newfangled 4, look at them. And then come to where it says news, and then kind of come down and go over to where it says blog. The Livewire weekly newsletter we usually all get every week, or when it comes out. Nothing came out this week. But if you hit on blog, it'll bring you to this page. And then there's all kinds of stuff that's here for you guys to learn how to host, how to host virtual rehearsals, building and seeing a community while social distancing. Just a lot of really interesting articles and blogs, and people comment on stuff. But this keeps us in the know of barbershop. There's a gentleman songster score triple threat news story. I mean, this is really neat. This is what other chapters are doing. They even show a barbershop club. The society now will sponsor a club versus a chapter, which is kind of interesting to hear. Then they go into all kinds of different stuff, and there's pages of stuff to learn there or to see there. So just something I thought I'd bring up to you guys. We'll stop that. Stop sharing. Let's see. Windows closed. Okay. So that was what I wanted to bring up to you. Also, we have some birthdays. It was a cold, dark, stormy night. I don't remember. I guess it had to be in August, but I don't remember what year. And Mr. David Dorway was born. And also, Wally Smallson was born. Can you believe that? So give him a round of applause. Happy birthday, guys. I'd sing you happy birthday, but I'm sure you don't want to hear me sing.
My mom turned 90 today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's even better.
Unfortunately, I'm not there. Everybody else in the family's there, but I couldn't get there.
Well, looking at Gunny, I think that he's about the same age as your mom, huh, Gunny?
Oh, he's got her beat.
And Wally, I don't know, Wally. We'll guess your age to be like, I don't know, 13? Okay, so moving on. Mr. Greg Dreyer has some businesses. Oh, yeah, Wally, go ahead. What? 2?
70.
You're 70?
Yep.
Really? Wow, I didn't think they made people that old, but wow, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
they do.
Great. Fantastic. Wally, you don't look 70. You don't.
Thank you.
You really don't. That's fantastic. All right. We're going to turn it over to our immediate past president, who is also assigned to bring us a slate of officers for the year 2021. Greg, where you at? You ready,
I'm here.
Greg?
I'm right
Okay.
here. Okay, it's for the slate of officers. This is the first of 3 readings, and then after the 3rd reading, we go ahead and we actually do a vote. If there are nominations from the floor, we will need to take a vote. If we don't have any nominations from the floor, we can actually on that 3rd reading, after that 3rd reading, we can go ahead and accept that slate as being our next officers. If we do have nominations from the floor and we have to do a vote, we're not sure how we're going to do that yet, but we'll figure it out. As it is right now, Kenny would become the immediate past president. President would be Art Miller. Executive Vice President George Stamos. Music Vice President Wally Smallson. Membership Vice President Gary Little. PR Marketing Vice President Fred Green. Secretary Ed Cotton. Treasurer Randy Preston. And 3 members at large. It would be Ivan Lambert, David Dorway, and Larry Patterson. So that's the first reading. Are there any nominations from the floor? Seeing none, we will move on to have a second reading next week. Thank you. And thanks to all the guys that are willing to step up and be on our board of directors.
Yeah, that's great, Greg. You've done a great job. I appreciate that. And we actually had some extra people that wanted to be on the board, so that's great. This is really, really good. Next, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry,
Question
Albert.
first. Yeah, something first on that. I think that within the confines of our Zoom meetings, we probably do have a quorum as necessary to elect, to have a valid vote to elect the officers. But I think especially since we're in this virtual environment and not all of the chapter has been participating necessarily in the virtual environment, that perhaps the slate should be definitely emailed out to the other members so that everybody is aware of it. Everyone is aware of when the election will be, so everyone who wants to participate is able to do so. Thank you.
I have no problem with that, and the slate can go out. However, we can't vote in a Zoom meeting. We can't vote if we have somebody from the floor. The only thing that the chapter does is basically ratify the slate that's presented. So there's really no voting per se. It's just an approval of the slate. And once everybody approves for the slate, then we can move forward and say that that's the chapter vote. But if we have something from the floor, then we have to go into a secret ballot, and we can't do that on Zoom. But as Greg pointed out, we'll figure that out if we come to that. So I'm not worried about it. Gary,
Mail them out. It's going to work.
you can't do that.
No, I was just asking for clarification. Is that in our bylaws?
It's in our bylaws.
Okay.
We can't
All
mail
right.
anything out. It has to be in person voting, and that's why we have something from the floor. We'll worry about it then. But for now, I'm not worried about it. We could present the slate. This is the idea. We present the slate, and everybody who wants a slate? Everybody puts up their hand, and that's good enough. So
Kenny might want to address some other chapters in the district to see what they're doing about voting in this regard.
yeah, I have, and once again, our bylaws, unless we go in and change our bylaws, we're bound by our bylaws. So it doesn't matter what other chapters are doing. You have to come
Okay.
together in a live meeting and vote. And I don't see that happening. But then again, from what I recall, we haven't had anybody run from the floor since, I think, me about 3 or 4 years ago. So if that happens again, then we'll address it then. So I'm not worried about it.
How many
think-
people do you need for a quorum on that?
Hang on just a second. Yeah, Jim.
You could have a live Zoom meeting and push out through the chat. You could push out a Google form. It does not take, you can set it up to not take email addresses, so it could be an anonymous ballot.
So
But
there's
that is a possibility.
Well, there's actually an easier way, and I've already thought about it. Maybe I should have brought it up. I'm sorry. Through Zoom, we're not supposed to do it this way, but there's nothing that I don't see how it violates anything. Through Zoom, you can set up a poll, and through that poll, you can ask a question and give several answers, and then people can vote, and it can be anonymous. And then once they select their answers and they submit it, it's collected in the meeting, and it's all anonymous, so you don't know whose opinion is what, and that's one way to do it. And that way you could do it based upon who is there present. The only thing that would negate that would, if we have somebody that's visiting us, we'd have to kick them out of the room for a couple of minutes. So that's one way to do it too. So, but I didn't want to, it's not right now, it's not an issue, so I'm not going to worry about it. Who else had a question? Somebody else had one?
I thought Paul had his hand up.
No?
Greg does.
Can we put out a list of the slate to the chapter, maybe tomorrow, to say what the slate is, letting them know about the ability to nominate from the floor for next week?
Sure. I just sent you a private message to that effect.
Okay. Thank
Hey,
you.
this private message stuff crap has got to stop. No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
Now, that's
Okay.
the only way we get to talk about you.
I know, but that's okay. I'm used to
Gonna
people
be
talking
back.
behind my back. I kind of like did 30 years of that, But at any rate, okay, let's move on. Let's see, we did birthdays, we did that. Before we get to Gary, let's see, is anybody interested in doing a tag quartet type of thing? And maybe it's already, it's already 7:30, so I'll save it for next meeting. I'm going to introduce maybe an idea that's worked out pretty well, where you guys want to sing in a tag, you can. Basically, you record yourself, you send it to the next person, they record themselves against your recording, and it all gets filtered to one person, a lot like what we did for witchcraft, something very similar. We could have video or we could have non-video. So it doesn't matter. It's just kind of fun because it keeps us singing. So keep that in mind, and I'll explain it next week. I'll give you details. Maybe I'll send out an email this week about details of that. Fred and then Paul.
You may have this planned for later in the meeting, but I'd kind of like to hear the update or the status on our virtual choir chorus recording that Matt's working on.
Okay, good. Paul.
Regarding the tag, would you use a normal updated cell phone? Because I've only got a flip phone, but I would be very interested in doing that.
Yes. To answer a simple question, yes.
Okay, I would grab my wife's phone then.
And we could figure it out for you and help you out with that. That's why I won't spend a whole bunch of time, but I'll put something out this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Fred, you had, what was your question? Crap. Oh, yeah, Matthew, I'm sorry. Next, Matthew. What's the status here, Matthew?
Yeah, so I'll just give a brief update. So I am working away on the video and the audio right now. I hope to have a product that I can show you guys by next week. At my new school, we've been in teacher training for 3.5 weeks. And for those of you who are teachers, you know that that is too much training time. So I'm a little burnt out, but it's after, I'm still wearing my work clothes because I got to work at 7:30 this morning, trained until 4, taught a lesson at 4:30, taught another lesson at 5:30, got home at 6:45, and sat down. So I'm trying to find the time, and I will find the time, and we will have a product soon. I'm excited about it. But yeah.
Well, you know what? Instead of a whole song, it'll be along the same ideas that we did instead of a whole song, we'll be doing tags is what I'm kind of thinking. So it goes along that line. And tags are a lot easier and they're funny. And look at, oh, how cute, Dennis, your little cat, your little kitty cat. I was going to call it something else, but we'll keep it G-rated. So at any rate, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
So Matt, the witchcraft thing is all done, right? Pretty much. Right? Okay.
You cut out there right at the end. What was that?
Oh, witchcraft is all done, pretty much?
It is.
Yeah.
By next week, it'll be, yeah, just about. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm not going to give you all a percentage or just anything like that, just because I want to make sure I don't, life could happen. Everything could burn down tomorrow. We never know.
You got my email, right? Or did you have a chance to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. You've got, I went back and said, man, that was on the 23rd. He's got to be past that thing right now. But if you want, I'll send the second thing, or do you need it or what? Go ahead and do it, right?
I'll send you a message.
All right. Thank you.
All righty. Good. Any other questions for Matt? All right. Tell you what, let's move into, we're going to go into rooms pretty soon here for our breakout rooms for the sectional rehearsals. The next thing up is vocal warm-ups. Jim, do you have anything to say before or regarding this? I know that you saw the video.
No, it's good. Warm up. I'm like Matt. I've been in a Zoom meeting since 10:30 this morning, and I get to be in another one at 7. And I'm trying to learn a learning management system that
it's a ball breaker.
Yeah, it's just not fun. Welcome to our world. Yeah.
Yeah, George.
Can I just take a second and express my appreciation and our appreciation to all of you teachers who are going through a very, very difficult time. And I just want to say that you are doing an incredible job, and what you're doing is so important, and we support you 100%. So thank you very much.
And stay healthy.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Wow. You guys only have to work a few months during the year, so I don't feel sorry for you. But at any rate, no, I'm kidding, man. You guys are doing a phenomenal job.
You're retired.
Really, I know. Yeah, but I used to work a lot. At any rate, not about me. Oh, wait a minute. It is. No, it's not. So you guys are fantastic. Thanks
Wait,
for.
Kenny, we have more guns to deal with now.
Yeah, pretty soon you're not going to even have a school police that's going to be able to protect you. But anyway, that's another topic, so I won't get into that. So, with all of that being said and done, I am going to move you into warm up. You're going to have to stand up, please. I am going to kind of like stop my video because, well, I just will. But I've got to share this. And so get up out of your seats, stand up. Expect to do kind of some stretching, and not a whole bunch, just a little bit. And here we go.
Please welcome.
Okay, Fred, would you mute everybody because I hear some kind of background. Okay, great, thanks. And then Fred, let me know, do you hear and see anything?
I see.
Director of Central Standard
It's working.
and doctoral music candidate Rob Mann.
Let's just double check our alignment. So we don't want to stand up straight, right? There's nothing straight in our bodies, but we do have points of alignment that make a straight line. So let's find those. So the middle of the ankle. Yes, good. I like how people check to make sure their ankles are there. Yep, check. Good. The middle of the knee falls over the middle of the ankle. Find your hip bones. It's the highest part of your hip bones. So your hip bones, if you look at them from the side, make a crest. Somewhere around the seam of your shirt, seam of your pants, you're going to find the highest part of your hip bones. So some digging may be required. This message was brought to you by ice cream. Yes, good. So highest part of the hips, middle of the knee, middle of the ankle. The next point of alignment is the highest part of the shoulders. Highest part of the shoulders over the highest part of the hips, over the middle of the knee, over the middle of the ankle. Now here comes the scary one, right? Because we live in a slouching society. We're typing, we're bored at work, we're driving our car, we're playing Pokemon, right? So we're always slouching. Thanks, Mom. Good. And so it's the middle of the holes of the ears over the highest part of the shoulders. The middle of the holes of the ears over the highest part of the shoulders. We want to follow the slogan, long back of neck, short front of neck. So the opposite. This is going to sound as good as it looks. Right? So long back of neck, short front neck, holes of the ears over the highest part of the shoulders. We want a level gaze at the horizon. We don't want to be reaching for notes or tucking for notes. We want to feel a gentle stretch in the back of the neck. And then the most important part is a very flexible and free neck. We're only using as much muscle energy to hold the head up and nothing more than that. Why is this so critical? Many reasons, but one is that when we're aligned, our muscles do the least amount of work holding us up. So we follow the rule that tension anywhere in the body means tension in the voice. Tension anywhere in the body means tension in the voice, and when we're aligned, that's when our muscles are doing the least amount of work to hold us up. Everybody find your ribs? Good. So, and just double check that we're still there. So holes of the ears over the parts. Yeah, I know that was so 30 seconds ago, right? So find your ribs. We're going to take a low, deep breath in, and as that happens, the ribs are going to swing out to the side. I just want you to slowly breathe out and resist letting this collapse as long as possible. Take another low, deep breath in. Again, the ribs are going to swing out to the side and just let it out slowly. Again, resisting collapsing. So that's every single time we breathe, we want the ribs to fully swing out to the side. And as we're singing, we want to resist letting them collapse. Good deal. Okay. Let's do a little. Can you hear that? Yeah, it is. Awesome. Good. So let's just do a little bit of. So hum, hum, e. There we go. And. Much higher third. rounder oo, and much higher third. Nicely done, nicely done. Let's do a little bubble. Everybody just go. Good, so that's all a bubble is. So we want to follow the rules that we're not going to re-articulate things as we bubble, so we're not going to go. So bubble continues regardless of pitch and rhythm. The first bubble is no more or less important than the other one, so we don't want to start with a big hit, right? It's just. Try that again. Good. And then we want to bubble vigorously. Cool? Thanks for playing along. Okay, great. Here we go. Let's do a little bit of bend. Good. Allow your body to move a little as you're doing this. Good. Singing is physical singing. Recheck alignment. Good. Everybody say ming, 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 ming. Match my energy. Say ming, 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 ming. All right. Deploy wagging finger. Yes, good. Turn to your neighbor and go ming, 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 ming. Oh, good. You like that one. Okay, good. Okay, everybody's got the choreography. Nobody needs a sectional or anything? No? Good. Excellent. So we're going ming, 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 ming. Complete with poking, wagging finger. Choose the neighbor of your choice. On your marks, get set. Here we go. And. All right, okay. I was worried that you were going to be too barbershop polite. I am happy that wasn't an issue. Okay, good deal. Say for me, mie, 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 me. Good. So what makes the M lips? What makes the E and the A vowel is tongue, yes? Deploy Home Alone look. Ooh, I just got a lot louder, that's cool. And say, mie, 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 me. Nice. Oh, by the way, this is the international sign for good job, by the way. Good. So we're going, mie, 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 mie. And this one has choreography too. I want you to find somebody opposite. So this side look that way, that side look this way. I want you to lock eyes with somebody, and we're going to grab a rope, and we're going to pull all the way through the line. And remember, full body involvement all the time. So every single time we're involving our entire instrument, so must involve knees because this is weak sauce, yes? So we're going to pull all the way through the line. As I like to say, if you're pulling with a tenor, pull gently, okay? Thanks for the sympathy laughter. Good. Here we go. Ready? Everybody got there? Here we go. And. You're good. To ooh. So, yeah, this is the international sign for timeout. Good. So from hum to ooh, we lost about 20 cents. So adjacent notes, we have, in a half step, we have 100 cents. So we just lost about a fifth of a half step. Anybody cool with that? I like how two people are like, yeah, flatting, baby. Here we go. Here's hum. To ooh. Round. To O. Okay, so bad news from ooh to O, we also lost 20 cents. Yeah, I have this little like tuning app up here. So I'm not telling you that you're flat, but the app thinks that you're quite flat. So here's hum. To ooh. Come on. Good. There's note. Here's O. Don't let go. Keep going. To ah. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Everyone say ah. Yeah, let's never use that vowel ever again, please. Here's hum and. Keep lifting the pitch, always ooh. To O. Come on, keep lifting it up. To ah. To A. E. Nice. Much better. Yeah, this is the international sign for make sure that there's no tension in the muscles around your lips. Good. Awesome. Let's do one more exercise. Here we go. So basses, you're going to chill on do for 8 beats, up to 4, and then back down to 1. Got it? The basses are all asleep. Good. Here we go. Basses on the syllable D. Here we go. And. Good. Make sure you're not jacking with the neck as we go up to 4. Yeah. So this stays. Yeah. Good. Baritones. Let's hear bass baritone together. Whoa. So if I'm playing a note, we're listening, we're not humming. Yes? Good? Love you. And. Baritones, we're going to need to go a lot higher than that to lock the 5th. Here we go, one more time. And. International sign for good job. Excellent. Lead as you go with the major scale. Sorry, I wasn't clear. I was going to listen to the leads, but basses, baritones, why don't you jump in? Here we go. And. We have some smart tenors in the room. Yes, tenors? You guessed right. Excellent. Good. We're sitting about 15 cents under, which is we're getting better. I will let you know the second we're sharp, okay? I'll write you a little memo and everything. Here we go. 4 parts on D. Double check alignment. We're looking a little bit like it's the morning and we stayed up too late last night. Yeah, here we go. Looking like successful singers always. And. down about 9 or 8 cents. We're moving in the right direction. Here we go. Here's do and. Nice sound, nice sound. Good. Here's do and. Yeah, leads, almost an O is not an O. Here we go, overs for the leads. Here we go, O is round, yes, and. Much more successful, and one last vowel. Everybody say ta-da. Ta-da. Match my energy, say ta-da. Ta-da. There we go, here's da and. Yay, awesome, you sound wonderful. Give your neighbor a high five. Thanks everybody, have a great day.
Nice job, brother.
What'd you guys think of that? That a pretty good warm up or what? That was real. I like that. So.
I'll vote or what?
Alrighty, let's move into Jim. Do you have anything before we go into sectionals?
No, it was good.
Okay, I know what I've got. I'm sorry, I've got to do this really quick. I need to. Let me try this. I'm sorry. Go there and oh, there it is. There. Come on, open. No mistakes. Nope, that's the wrong file.
Let me help you, Kenny. Wait, no, that over here.
Gunny, you're not helping.
I just muted him.
Wrong words, Gunny. You're supposed to say, oh crap.
He who has the power of mute rules.
I can unmute.
Well, I know where it's at. I've got the wrong stick plugged into my computer, and I'm sorry.
Mute wars.
I thought I was more prepared than this, so eject. I gotta take that out of here. And
I hope you've got the tenor soundtrack too.
yeah, I do. Okay, now we should be good to go here. Let me pull up. And once again, my apologies, guys. I'm so sorry. Armed Forces. Okay. Baritone. Mix. Okay, now let's try this. Go back to Zoom. Come on. Oh, it's up here. All right. Okay. Here we go. If you would, go ahead and mute yourself, Gunny. And sing along. This is the entire song, but it's only 3 minutes. But we're going to just go over the first two parts of it. So,
From the rising up.
Fred, can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, there's no reason to make it big, so I will put it at the beginning. All right, here we go.
From the rising of the sun till the battle's fought and won, we will fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. Aye, Coast Guard, we fight for you. Ba-da-da-da-da. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Ba-da-da-da-da. Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along, rolls along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong, for where we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along, along. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar, a roar. We live in fame or go down in flame. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. And those are the great armed forces of America. They serve America at home or overseas. They serve America.
Okay, that was the entire thing. Any questions? No? Jim, do you have anything before we go into sectionals?
Do good. When all else fails, sing better.
All right, good advice. Fred, would you take us into sectionals and bring us back in 15? Jim, is 15 minutes okay? All right. Oh, and I'm sorry, you're going to go through section leaders.
First two songs.
Just the first two songs, and I guess you should do the intro too, or?
Yeah, intro and the first two songs. I mean.
Okay, section leaders. I sent you the sections of that last week, so pull it up in your email if you don't have it this week. But at any rate, so Fred, take us away and bring us back.
You got it. Here we go.
Guard. I think all of us have the pattern on some notes, but occasionally I hear people not get the pattern. So here's the pattern. When we start off, we have fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call, and the word call has a G, da, 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 and then we place our trust in the E. And that's another da-dee-dee. And then the next two that has that little pattern is actually a da-da-da. So it's through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose B-E-E. Semper Paratus is our ga-ide. Our pledge, our motto, to we're all together, do or die, Coast Guard will fight for you. So we got 2 with the and then a and then a all right. Looking at the Marines hymn, I hear a lot of basses singing the word will. From the shores of Tripoli, bum, bum, bum. We fight. We don't will fight. Just the upper voices do actually only the lead says the word will. The rest of us do not say the word will. So watch yourself on that. All of you Marines who have sung the word will forever, no one will rat you out to the commandant. All right, let me.
There's only one Marine here.
Yeah, well, that's.
Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know how to respond to that. All right, I'm going to share my screen and put some music on, and we will do some singing. Yeah, I think all I have to do is that. Oh, hello. I don't want that anymore. I want music.
You want us to mute ourselves?
Yeah, you guys should mute yourselves now. So I used to have this. I'll find it. Air Force medley. Bases measures 1 through 68. All right, gentlemen, here we go. Okay. From the rising of the sun till the battle's fought and won, we will fight for the right and
We're not hearing anything, Bob.
No sound except you.
Okay. You're not hearing it?
Not yet.
No, just you, Bob.
Well, that's certainly no pleasure.
Well, you're doing a fine job, Bob.
Well,
Yes, indeed.
All right. Let's see if this comes through. Did that come through?
Not yet.
Nothing came through. Okay. Something along the way, I'm going to stop sharing because somewhere along the way, I didn't say we should be hearing my audio. Okay, well, that's a pain in the knee. No, don't want that. All right, I'm going to share my audio. Speaker. Let me look at my audio settings. Okay, those are all set up so they should have some output volume. Did anyone hear a bump bum? Join audio. Damn. This has never happened to me before. Well, phooey. All right, I'm going to come out of sharing. Oh, phooey. Well.
We had a little bit in the background.
Was anything heard at that point? No, nothing, right? Okay, I'm gonna try something else here. Maybe because I'm feeding.
Hit it with a hammer.
Because I was feeding into my headset, maybe that is the problem. All right, let's share some music again and try it. And freedom.
Make sure to mute yourself, Bob.
We are proud to
There we go. You got it.
idol of United.
We're still not hearing anything, Bob.
We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. Coast Guard, we fight for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First you fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Can't hear you, Bob.
Hi. Okay, did we hear music? We heard
Yes.
music. And now we're hearing me. All right, let's go through that again. And I like using the all rather than the base left measures 1 through 68 because it's about half the speed. So let's go back and do that again. Oh, all right. So we got the right pattern on the Coast Guard hymn, and we're not seeing the word will on the Marines. Here we go. Armed Forces Medley All.
From the rising of the sun till the battle's fought and won, we will fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. Coast Guard, we fight for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First you fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Ba-da-da-da. Anchors away, my boy.
You're muted, Bob.
Hi again. All right, that played through. That we're listening, we're hearing, we're singing along with it. We're having great fun. Okay, want to do it again? Sure, let's do it again. Shows that we were doing something. Actually, let's take it all the way to the end this time. Looking ahead. when we go into the Army Goes Rolling On, we're starting off with our and the Army rolls along. I've heard bases putting a rolling the first time through on rolls, and it's the second time that we hear the word rolling, a roll, that it's a rolling. So let's take it on through. We're going to go back to the beginning, and uno, dos, tres, here we go.
Boys, anchors away.
All right, here we go.
From the rising of the sun till the battle's fought and won, we will fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. I, Coast Guard, we fight for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam, until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along, rolls along, proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong, for where we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along, along. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar, a roar. We live in fame or go down in flame. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. And those are the great armed forces of America. They serve America at home or overseas. They serve America.
Nice, nice. All right. Looks like we've covered all the little things that need to be covered and so forth. Anybody got a word of advice, a comment for the good of the cause?
Well, our 15 minutes is up, so I think
Well,
it's
good.
time
Let's
we
get out
gotta
of here and
head
get back there.
All righty.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, everybody. Once again, appreciate your.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much.
I'm here.
We see you
I'm in the dark.
where you belong.
I'm in the side yard with my light on. I'm watching this one light way up there. It's just moving real slow.
Did you get kicked out again?
Me?
Yeah. Is that where you're
No,
outside?
No. Oh, that's what you meant. Well,
Out by the doghouse?
No, actually, the doghouse is in the back, over by the pool.
We
I'm in the side yard.
And actually scored about 7 out of the 15.
Got 8 measures out of it.
But
You know what, Gunny? There's a great song, Nat King Cole, Dean Martin, a duet, Open Up the Doghouse. 2 cats are coming in. It's a great song. It would go
Oh, is it on YouTube?
probably. It would go well with you right now, but it is certainly not kind to women.
Well, the doghouse is on the other side of the house.
It's you listen to it and you're like, oh my, wow. It's a hoot.
I'll put it on the house stereo, turn it up real loud, so
Yeah.
my wife can enjoy it.
Yes.
Okay, do we have everybody back? Looks like we do.
I'm muting myself.
Good. Thank you. All right. Well,
You're
tell
there,
you what.
Greg. You're-
Without any hesitation now, I will introduce. Oh, I'm sorry. Jim, did you have any comments on the sectional rehearsals as you went through and heard?
Everything looked good to me. I mean, it's great to see you guys working again. That song, those first 2 come together pretty quickly. So I'm not too worried about it. So good on everyone.
Good and fantastic. All right. Well, Jim, do you want to move on to your class?
Sure thing.
I'm chomping at the bit to hear it, man. All right.
Yes,
So wait a second.
Wally,
So
that is the song.
without further ado, gentlemen, here's your director, Mr. Jim Halverson.
Good evening, gentlemen. And you know what? And Wally, as I said, yeah, that is the song. It's a riot. Oh my God. The first time I heard that, I cracked up. And then I was like, man, I want to arrange this for a barbershop quartet and then go to like the, a feminist convention and just see how quickly I can get thrown out. Because, oh my God, it's not politically correct on even the slightest.
What's the name of it again, Jim?
It's called Open Up the Doghouse. I think Wally put it in the chat. So, but don't go listen to it now. We're talking barbershop. So, this week, we're going to start off, we're going to 2000 to 2006, smaller. We're going to just go into listening to songs. These are quartets that we are all more familiar with, as we kind of started talking about last week. Every quartet's got a unique sound to them. And the sound is indicative of their style. The things that they all do well, that you start hearing more and more because the recordings are better, the quality of audio is better, is the quartets can absolutely ring chords like the Dickens. Other things you will notice is the arrangements are getting more and more challenging. I think in the late 80s late 80s and into the 90s, we probably peaked at the era of when an international champ quartet could sing a song and Joe Blow quartet in a chorus could sing that song pretty easily as well. Doesn't mean they sang it at international champion level, but they sang it pretty well. Now we're going to start getting into the era where the quartets are singing music that is not only arranged for them, but they are vocally at a level that just mere mortals are not at. Now, what's great is that it's kind of like, I always liken it to divers. They're just doing higher difficulty songs. And there is an element where if they can just execute it, it's absolutely amazing because the arranger now is putting so much music into it that there's very little interpretation to it. You pretty much do it the way the arranger did, and then you're going to succeed. Now, with that said, there we will listen to a couple quartets that do some songs that are still incredibly simple. And I think the reason I picked these tonight is because I want to show that it isn't just about having vocal gymnastics. It isn't just about having virtuosic singing. These guys still, at the heart of it, really know how to sing the craft better than anyone. And that's what makes them amazing. So to start off tonight, we're going to listen to our 2000 champs, Platinum. Now, Platinum has two returning champs in Joe Connolly, who is returning for his third gold medal, singing lead, and Tony DeRosa earning his second gold medal, singing baritone. The bass is a gentleman by the name of Kevin Miles. And if you were someone that went to Disney World and you go to the parking lot at Disney World and you get on the tram and you start riding in and there's a voice that starts talking to you about being at Disney World, well, that's the voice of Kevin Miles. So he's a Dapper Dan. He sang in The Voices of Liberty. He is a professional singer that makes a living singing at Disney, and he is an absolute machine of a bass. Incredible bass resonator. And then the tenor was a gentleman by the name of Gary Davis, who currently sings in a quartet called Quorum that has been in the top 5 at International, and I think going into this International would have been ranked in the top 2 or 3 going into this International. So, but he was going into this International singing bass. So flexibility of voice. So the recording I pulled is not of the playlist that I gave you. It's a different one because I wanted to find a song. This is from their contest performance. I believe this, this is either the second session or this could be the third session. But I remember watching this quartet at the International. I got a chance to sit about 15 rows back in the dead center of the auditorium to hear them during the finals. And I got to sit next to their primary coach, who was a gentleman by the name of Jim Casey. And those of us that have been around the mill and barbershop have heard of a gentleman by the name of Jim Casey, and he was one of our preeminent vocal coaches, and he was absolutely amazing. And I remember one of the stories he told me about this, and you can hear it in their performance. He said for about 3 to 6 months, Platinum as a quartet rehearsed without ever speaking a word of text. He gave them an assignment. He said, I want you to sing like the world's greatest string quartet. He said, if you cannot put the artistry, the emotion, and the passion in your singing without lyrics, you don't need them. They're doing you no good. He said, the music has to live on its own before you ever put the text on it. And when you hear them, that's what I think is what's so amazing about listening to them. Not just because they're 4 amazing singers, but they literally have just musicianship oozing out of them in every pore of their body. So I think to this day, they still have the current highest 3-round score average in the Barbershop Society for judging systems at 93.4 or 93.7. So they are as close to what a barbershop judging audience has viewed as perfection. So I'll give this to you. Let's listen to a little bit of Platinum.
I love you, you know I do. You are the one I adore. Can't you see, you and me, I could love you more. So come a little closer, dear, my dear. your cheeks so rosy. Like to make you comfy, cozy. 'Cause I love from head to toesy. My sweet loving, my sweet loving, come and cuddle up a little closer, my little loving mine. Cuddle up, and won't you be my little, be my thing in mine. Now I'd like to feel your cheeks so rosy. I like to make you comfy, cozy. 'Cause I love you from your head to your toesy. Sweet lovey, my sweet lovey. Don't you know that you're the only one I adore? Oh, come on and cuddle up a little closer to me now. Sweet lovey mine. Cuddle up and won't you be my little sweet, my little thing in mine. I love you so much, need you so much, from your head right down to your toesy. So cuddle up, sweet little lovey mine. Come on, cuddle up, my sweet lovey. Cuddle up, sweet lovey
Great quartet, big sound, just huge voices. What a great quality of sound in this quartet. I'm going to stop for a second so I can see all your faces. Now, I would say that that quartet is great, but it's almost an end of an era, and it starts with the next quartet. The next quartet we have brings a uniquely different focus to the barbershop sound. They are, you can hear in the Quartet Platinum, they have this big, tall sound, and they still sing partly because the bass has such a big, rich voice. The lead and the baritone are bright, the tenor's bright, but they have a big, open sound. The next quartet we have, the 2001 champs, start bringing a sound that is reminiscent of the quartets of the 60s, in that it is brighter, it is more forward, but at the same time there's an ease of production in it. It's effortless, and that brighter forward sound allows that ring of the barbershop chord to become the primary focus of that ensemble that we hear. The other thing that happens with our 2001 champs, Michigan Jake, is we really take that huge leap into the virtuosic singing, the challenging arrangements that choruses and quartets try to learn, and man, they just never can do it as well. They're not impossible, but boy, it really takes some singers. And it's great though. It's some amazing music. Now, along with that, Michigan Jake, you've heard this before, is we sing a lot of songs. We talked about this in the 80s and into the 90s. We basically have two styles of songs, uptunes and ballads. And a lot of our uptunes through the 80s and 90s are what we call drivers. They feel like a march. Everything is on the beat. Bum, 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 dun, 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 da, 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 dee, da, 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 okay? We feel that sound. We get into the 90s and we start hearing quartets doing songs that we would say have a swing or an easy beat. We could even say that last recording by Platinum had a little bit of that backbeat feel. Cuddle up a little closer. It's not cuddle up a little. It has a relaxed feel to it. But even up to this time, barbershop quartets, to use a euphemism that my band director used to say in jazz band, he said barbershop quartets would swing like a rusty gate. It just doesn't ever really understand, and the trouble is the concept of swing is really hard to understand. it's not something you pick up overnight. All right. It's something that you've got to learn how to feel. You've got to play. You've got to sing. You've got to do a lot of it to get it. I mean, I remember playing saxophone in band. Shout out to Vic, saxophone player. Woohoo! All right. But we would have our band, jazz band rehearsals were on Monday nights, and it was 3 hours long. And the first hour, we would just jam and learn what it felt like to get into that swing groove, to learn just how far behind the beat that back half of the beat is, so that it pushes and yet the song drives, but the song feels like it's behind the beat. That's what swing does, okay? And barbershop quartets just didn't do that because they always felt this urge to push. They always were worried about forward motion. So Michigan Jake comes along in 2001, and they had started working this way up, but this was their crowning year, the year they win, and they really start capitalizing on this. They're the first quartet that you hear that really understands how to lay back into the beat, how to really hear the swing element come to the forefront, where that style is one of the features of the song. And then that adds to a different level of vocalizing. It's easier. It's not as intense and in your face. I mean, you saw Platinum, as great as they sang, they were all sweating like they were, sinners in church. And all of a sudden they've got to relax. And so you hear that. So my favorite song that Michigan Jake did is a tune that was made famous by Fred Astaire from a movie that I can't recall called Louise. And I went and found this recording because this is just my favorite. And this is from, I believe, from actually the year that they won. And what you hear is they start out so simple. Even the song sounds a little bit small. It builds and it gets energetic. And the arrangement is masterfully crafted to get you to a high point, and then it releases to the tag. But at no time do you ever hear the quartet shouting, over singing, or just trying to absolutely destroy you with harmony. They're just singing so well, and everything locks in because their voices are really working at that ensemble sound. And that's part of that brilliance in the voice, where they learn to find each other's sound and they gravitate to it. It's like they all got in the same car on the roller coaster. And instead of 4 different roller coasters, they're all living in one. And when one person moves, everybody moves. And that is a defining element of modern barbershop singing. So let's give this tune a listen, and we can kind of hear an immediate change in style and texture and sound.
Innocent, you're so innocent and as gentle as a dove. You were heaven sent, like an angel from above. It's wonderful, oh it's wonderful, yeah, just to be in love with you. Baby, you're beautiful, you're so beautiful. Well, you haunt me all day through. Every little breeze seems to whisper Louise. Birds in the trees seem to twitter Louise. Each little rose tells me it knows I love you, baby. Every little beat that I feel in my heart seems to repeat what I felt at the start. And each little sigh tells me that I adore you. Louise, let me tell you, baby, just to see and hear you brings me joy I never knew. But just to be so near you, well, it thrills me through and through and through. Now anyone can see why I wanted your kiss. It had to be, but the wonder is this: can it be true? Someone like you could love me. Can it be? A Louise, Louise, I say. oh, to see and hear you, it brings me joy I never knew, babe. Geez Louise, to be so near you thrills and chills me through and through. Anyone can tell that you captured my heart. You cast a spell and enraptured my heart. Can it be true? Someone like you could be mine, ever be mine. Can it be true? Someone so fine could be mine. You're so fine. Could you be mine? So fine. Could you be mine? You're so fine. Oh, so fine. And that's why, baby, that's why I love you. Yes, I do. Louise. I hear your name in the breeze. Louise.
Oh. Okay, sorry. That was actually from the 2000 competition before they won. And that's why that was the first time they ever put that song on contest stage. But I don't know about you, but I can hear an immediate difference. Now, when Michigan Jake came on the scene, there were a lot of people didn't like their sound. They said, "Oh, they sing like girls. They have they do this. They called it an effeminate sound because they didn't press the voice. They weren't singing with that. But the chords they're ringing are so much more in tune. They're so clean. They're so precise. And it's just as exciting as all get out to listen to. And as they continue on, they didn't last very long as a quartet. They moved apart after a while, but they had a couple albums that were absolutely outstanding. And if you want to hear absolutely just incredible singing and incredible rhythmic dexterity and virtuosic singing, I highly suggest looking up some other stuff. The second album that they did was called That's How Rhythm Was Born, is incredible. And like I said, that ease of delivery is just amazing, and how they can stay in that freedom of voice, be in that high forward production, and then just learn how to ratchet that sound to make things loud and exciting. I mean, just and now also with that arrangement's incredibly well crafted. It starts, it builds, and it has just an amazing climax, and then, you know, in literary terms, it has a denouement. It's just boom, the tag just lays down perfectly. It doesn't have to crush you. And that soft tag might be more exciting than just beating you over the head with a loud tag, mainly because they had a huge climax and then released, you know, like Pillow Talk. So, yes, Gordon. You're on mute, Gordon. Here, let me unmute you.
It's just really cool how they stuck unisons in the middle of phrases too, just all throughout the piece. And it just, they go from that nice 4-part rich chords to a unison that's just so clean and neat. It's just really cool to listen to.
Just a beautiful things, and learning about things like, I remember talking to Mark Hale about their quartet, and one of the things they knew is that their bass was really good at walking bass lines. So they made sure that in every one of their uptunes, he has some part of the song where he goes da dee 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 dee. He does that walking bass line, and it's a feature of their arrangements. It started becoming, and what we start getting now is the quartets, the style of the music they're singing becomes indicative of who they are. That's where their identity becomes. So we've kind of talked about that over time, but now it's really the arrangements they're doing, and more than just the sound of the quartet. So next quartet we get to is the 2002 champs. Another quartet that is definitely iconic in their sound. They started as a college quartet, and they worked their way up. They won the college championship and then won the international championship as a quartet. So they were the first quartet to do that in our society. Up to then, there had been college quartets starting in 1994 that had their college quartet championship, but none of them had actually risen all the way up to competing with the big boys and then ultimately winning. This quartet blends a little bit of both of the last two. They sing with that very clean, bright sound of the future barbershop quartets, but they have a really wide range. They have a tenor and gentleman named Lester Rector, who is a full voice gospel tenor, and boy, does he use it at the right times, and occasionally at the wrong times, but boy, does he use it. They have a bass, Jason, who has got a never-ending meat hook bass voice, and it's super bright and clear. Just really great. And then you have the Guyton brothers, who you have that natural blend, but they both know so much of what to do in their parts to make their parts work so well together. So I'm trying to remember what song I pulled up, but let's give them a listen. And like I said, you're going to hear elements of both of the last of the two quartets. You're going to hear that swing rhythm, that sense of feel, and that sense of shape in the song, the musicality in the song, but you're still going to hear some moments of bone-crushing harmony because, as they once said, Brandon once said to me in a coaching session, he says, we have no fear of violating the audience with our sound. So be prepared to be violated in a very good way. Okay.
Long as there is chicken gravy on rice.
Here's four voices.
As long as there's a morning glory on the vine, everything is fine, just fine. Got no time to work, time to play, busy doing nothing all the live long day. You won't ever change, no matter what I say. You were just made that way. No day, no work, no play. Lazy bones sleeping in the sun. How you expect to get your day's work done? Never get your day's work done. Sleeping in the noonday sun. Lazy bones, sleeping in the lazy bones. How you gonna get your cornmeal? Never better get your cornmeal while you're sleeping in the evening shed. When taters need spraying, I'll bet you keep praying the bugs fall off of the vine. Oh, and when you go fishing, I'll bet you keep wishing the fish won't grab at your line. Oh, lazy bones, look at you loafing through the day. How you expect to make a dime that way? You'll never make a dime that way. Long as you're loafing through the livelong day. Loafing all day, no work, no play. You lazy fools, you're never gonna get nowhere. The cows need hay, the hens are laying, the taters need spraying, and there you are praying the bugs all just die. night. Fall off the vine. You never do chores, no windows and floors. You never do mowing, you never do hoeing, you never pay no mind. No lazy bones, loafing through the day. How you expect to make a dime that way? Never a dime that way. While you're loafing through the living day. No, you'll never make a dime that way. Look at him laying there. He never heard a word, not one word. I say.
Just an awesome performance. Fabulous quartet. But you hear the little bit of the elements, as I said. You hear a little bit of that bone-crushing harmony that we've got out of Platinum, but a little of that cleanliness. And I think this is one of the first really well-known, or I would call it an iconic performance of something that has a very bluesy feel. So now we're not only going into swing, but we're going into something that's blues. It's not 12-bar blues. It's not your standard blues, but it's got that sense. It's got that feel of kind of the blues progression in it. And the melody has got the blue note in it that kind of syrups around. And you hear Chad Guyton, he's making the little ornamentations. We didn't hear that in Barbershop on the contest stage. Nobody was doing that. But he starts adding that in, and it adds this other musical element that's so interesting to our barbershop style that we hadn't heard before. And so I think they're really important for us that way. Now, we'll get to our next quartet is the 2003 champs, Power Play. And as I said, you know, we've talked about this before in some of our other ones. There are trends. That doesn't mean every quartet follows a trend. I would say this is certainly one of the quartets that harkens back to just singing good old barbershop. They never sang really difficult arrangements. They never sang, I don't think you would listen to them, except for now you would listen to Mike Slamka, the lead, and say that he is certainly a virtuosic singer. But the rest of them are just guys. You know, this is an era. But they did play into the advantage of genetics. We've got, you know, 3 family members and 1 partially removed family member. There's all genetic material that's somehow connected there. And that natural blend is just amazing to listen to. And, you know, and I think there is, even at sometimes, I think when Revival won in 1998, there was an element of sentimentality to that win. When the Boston Common won, I think there was an era of sentimentality to that win. There was everybody knew they were not going to compete anymore, and I think the judges have finally realized maybe we were wrong after all these years. They get a little bump this year, and we can justify that win. I'm not saying that happened. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, but there is something to be said for the sentimentality of some of our champions. I think when Fred finally wins, I think there's an element of that as well. They were a great quartet. They sang the best that year, and they performed the best that year. That goes with, you know, that works. You know, Platinum had higher singing scores, but they were the overall best quartet. So, without further ado, we'll give you Power Play. You hear something different, but it's still championship worthy.
As I recall when up to my dad. But boy, there were times he sure drove me nuts. What a great guy, but oh, such a klutz. Why don't you listen while I tell you about my dear old dad? I laugh when I recall the times that we had. First of all, the Christmas, he struggled all night, putting together something that resembled a bike. The time he lost me at the county fair, dropped me at the movies, then forgot I was there. Still the best times I ever had, I owe to my good old dad. Gee, it sure was fun the times I had with my old pop. I thought those good old days would never stop. Remember the vacation, we didn't go far. Poor dad, he wrecked the car. I shouldn't laugh the time I hammered my thumb. Wasn't quite so funny when he paddled my bum. Still the best times I ever had, I owe to my good old dad. Now that I am older, I can truly say my life would be complete if my own kids would say the best times I ever had. I owe them to my good old. I taught them what they should know. Talking about my good old dad, my dad.
All right. So, just great singing. You can hear that cleanliness. You can hear that modern flair of ease of singing and allowing the chords to do a lot of the work for them. There's not necessarily a really sense of having to pound or pounce on the sound to really make the chord work for them. And very musical. That's driven a lot by Mike Slamka, the lead. I mean, even on an up tune, he is as musical and lyrical as it gets. There are few that sing with that ease of singing that he does. And, you know, and later on when we hear him in Crossroads, he brings not only that ease of singing, but a little more dramatic flair because of the repertoire that they choose to sing. He really brings a whole different level of his artistry out. Okay, so our next quartet, you might say, is on the other side of the spectrum of that. An interesting quartet in that, once again, we start talking about how quartets decide that they're going to define themselves and their sound. And I remember having this discussion with the lead of this quartet, Chris Vaughn, the quartet being the 2004 champs, Gotcha. And I remember them talking about this when they started. They were this young, exciting, really high, tight, clean singing quartet that was just loud as hell. I'm sorry, they were just, I mean, they were obnoxiously loud. And they knew, they started working with different coaches. And the big thing is that the coaches were trying to take them away from who they were. And they struggled. They would go to contests and not do as well. They were trying to get them to sing bigger and taller and do these things and this thing and this thing. And finally, they got in with a lady by the name of Kim Hulbert, who's now Kim Vaughn, who actually ended up marrying Chris Vaughn's dad. And she said, okay, let's go with what you've got, and let's just make the decision that we're going to get everybody to understand how great what you do is. We're going to make it so good. We're going to eliminate all the things they don't necessarily like about it, but let you keep the core of who you are. Let you become unique in the sound that you have. And I think that's what, when they finally won, I think that's what really made them an interesting quartet, is they were different. They were definitely a power quartet. They were not a finesse quartet, but then yet they could sing with finesse. And while maybe some people might pan them as just being this loud banging quartet, there's actually a lot of freedom when they win. There's actually a lot of just, it's pure open singing and freedom and ringing in it. It's not the same delicacy that you hear out of a Michigan Jake. It's a bigger, bolder voice, but it still keeps that barbershop ring to it. Another thing that's really interesting about this quartet is when they won, I think they won with 5 public domain songs. So they've sang stock, well, I mean modern arrangements, but 5 stock barbershop songs. I believe there's only one song they did that was not a public domain song, and I believe that Alan told me that, so that might be, you know, if he's wrong, we'll hold it over for him forever, because he's rarely wrong. Just ask him. So let's give a listen to this, and listen to the subtlety. Listen to how sensitively they sing the introduction of this song, and then when they get to the end of it, because it's a big tag. When they get to the end of this, just, it's not that it's loud, but it's big, it's broad, it's open. It's not in your face this way, it envelops you. So the song we're going to listen to is their version of the tune If I Had My Way.
I used to be the first one to cry when I think what tomorrow would bring. Then you came my way, turned my night into day. What tomorrow will bring. If I had my way, dear, forever there'd be a garden of roses for you, and for me 1,001 things, dear, I would do just for you, just for you.
it's just hard not to get excited about that performance. My gosh, such good singing. And you know what? You even hear Chris make a couple cracks in his voice. And yeah, you know, okay, sure, he did. Nobody cares. That was so artistic. That was so so artfully driven that you can't beat that. That's just beautiful singing. And big, you know, and
Yeah.
big. Now, conversely, next quartet,
Yeah.
2005, Real Time, complete other side of the coin. The smooth, maybe of all these quartets, the smoothest quartet vocally that we'll ever hear. Led a lot by their lead, John Newell, just effortless. And the voices just work so smoothly into each other's sound. When they do get to the end of their songs and they go for a tag, it just sounds like they're singing a vocal exercise. It doesn't sound like they're trying to crush a tag. I mean, that was one of the things with Gotcha. When they were going to crush a tag, you knew it. You knew it like 10 miles away. There was no holding back. And it was still great. You wanted to hear it 100 more times, but you knew it. When Real Time does it, it's like they're just, you know, but it's so incredibly well sung that it's kind of hard to beat. So I'm going to pull up another, this is the one I forgot to pull up a recording of, but I will pull up a recording of Real Time, and then we'll finish with the Vocal Spectrum.
You've gone away from me, your face I long to see. Since you've been gone, it's not the same. There on the street I'm lonely, hearing only your name. Yesterday I heard the rain whispering your name, asking where you'd gone. It fell softly from the clouds on the silent crowds as I wandered on. Out of doorways, black umbrellas came to pursue me. Faceless people as they passed were looking through me. No one knew me. Yesterday I shut my eyes, face up to the skies, drinking in the rain, but your image was still there, floating on the air, brighter than a flame of flame. Yesterday I saw a city full of shadows without pity. nice.
It's actually absurd how loud the overtone is on the last chord of that song. And that doesn't happen if guys are over singing. It's just, I mean, the real time's so interesting because not only is it that they sing with the bright forward sound, they sing with freedom in their voice, but you're starting to hear real resonance matching. It literally sounds like the same voices. I mean, the only other time we hear something that's that kind of cleanliness, really, like generationally, is all going all the way back to the Dealer's Choice, when they're sitting there, you know, analyzing their voices in a spectrograph to make sure that they're all matching their vowel sounds so cleanly together. That sense of really, as I mentioned before, these quartets, starting with Michigan Jake, that start this idea of get the whole ensemble to ring together, to get their voices to find each other so that they all crawl into the same roller coaster car. That it's not different tracks, it's all one track. And that when they go, they all go together. When they go up, they go down. It's that sense of awareness. Another one of my choir director friends would talk about it as like a school of fish that just innately have like this ESP to just know how to all turn together in the water. And that's what this group does. You hear the fact that they all just innately know how to feed into each other's sound to make the chord move, make the music move in a way that we hadn't heard. But it's because of this progression. We're hearing this change in sound. I mean, Platinum is an amazing quartet, but we start moving away from that. Doesn't mean we won't hear something like that again, because Joe Connolly comes back and we get another quartet that sounds like that in a couple of years. But we see this trend that's going this way of this cleaner sound, this brighter sound, this sense of this focus really on the effortlessness of singing. I mean, they're still working. Trust me, everybody's working to sing, but it feels like they're singing at 70% effort to make 130% sound, as opposed to working at 100% to make 90% of their sound. All right. So our last quartet for the evening is Vocal Spectrum, and I think maybe in our current era, that's probably one of our most famous quartets, maybe in the last 15 years. Another quartet that won the college quartet contest and then won the international quartet contest, so they have that unique honor along with Four Voices. They've gone on to do many recordings, and we all know them from Tim Warwick, that sings 8 million hour tags, never seems like he ends. They have the big crushing barbershop sound. They sing super bright. Their baritone, Johnny Maroney, might be, I think he could actually, he could cut steel at 50 paces with just his voice. I had a chance to sing. I'm actually going to show you a video of years ago. We did a camp up in Northern California, a youth harmony camp, and their quartet was the guest quartet for the weekend. And on the last night of the camp, we go out to this campfire area, and they have a no talent show. And then Vocal Spectrum got to get up, and it was so weird to hear the acoustics of this like little shell area. It would really project exactly in front of someone. So we were standing in the back and we could walk. And when I stood directly across, or I was facing Tim Warwick, the tenor, I could hear him really loud. And I couldn't hear the rest of the quartet. And that's kind of the way it is all the time. But I mean, I could hear him really loud. And then I started moving, and then I got to a certain spot where I could hear the lead. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool thing. And then I got a little bit farther over, and I got to where I could hear the bass directly. And then I got to the very end, and I could hear Johnny, and I didn't know humans could sing that loud and penetrating. That sound was so loud. And it's interesting because he really, when you listen to them, he really sparks the sound of that quartet. If you really analyze and listen to them closely, he sings really on the razor's edge of brilliance. Compare him to a number of other baritones. Compare him to Tony DeRosa. Compare him to Brandon Guyton. He is way out there in brilliance, but he makes the quartet ring so well. So even though they were making some different vocal choices, it works for the quartet. It makes the quartet sound unique. It gives them a flair and a character that no other quartet has. It gives them a level of excitement that maybe even Real Time doesn't, because Real Time's so smooth and just overwhelms you with this vocal freedom, and then Vocal Spectrum comes in and just lights you up with this excitement in their sound. So I know I could find 50 recordings of great songs that would show Tim Warwick singing super loud and super high. But the recording I wanted to end with tonight was kind of what I started with this evening, saying that vocal gymnastics, if you want to call it, I call it virtuosity. Arrangements that are extending the capabilities of the barbershop sound and the capabilities of the barbershop singer are starting to become the norm. We're starting to get this higher level of difficulty. We're getting to barbershop contests where if you can just execute the super hard song, you've got a better chance of medaling than if you can just sing artistically. And so some of these quartets get a little denounced because they're just singing hard music and the judges are just scoring hard music. So this youth camp that I went to, and I can't remember when it was, I'm sure the date is on this recording, Vocal Spectrum was the quartet, and we rehearsed Friday, we rehearsed all day Saturday, and they sing and they help teach and everything, and then Sunday morning we do a performance for the parents of the campgoers on the way out. And one of the featured things is Vocal Spectrum comes out and does a few numbers. And so this recording is them on a Sunday morning, dog tired because they were up singing tags till probably 3 or something, very late. And it's this weird ringy gymnasium, but they sing this arrangement of the song done by a gentleman named Kirk Young, who you may know the name, a well-known barbershopper in our society, sang most recently with a quartet. I can't remember their name now. Somebody tell me the name.
Category 4.
Category 4. There we go. Thank you very much. And it has been up in the medals recently, and I think they recently just called it quits, unfortunately. But he did this arrangement of a very poignant song by Billy Joel called Lullaby. And the subtitle is Good Night, My Angel. And it's beautiful. And I remember sitting at this, it was one of those few times, I've had 2 or 3 times in my life in the barbershop world where I've had, I know this sounds kind of weird, but I've had like truly an out-of-body barbershop experience where I'm not sitting at that spot, I am being transcended to a different place. The first time I can remember that is 1992 finals, Gas House Gang singing the song Bright Was the Night. Maybe one of the greatest single performances I've ever seen in my life. And I will remember that day because I was not there sitting in the audience. I was the camera that was zooming around and watching them. And I couldn't understand what was happening. But it was more than I could ever process. It was amazing. So this performance is a testament to why Vocal Spectrum is so amazing. Not because they can sing super difficult songs, but because at the heart of it, they are a quintessential barbershop quartet with such an impeccable sense of musicianship that they make themselves iconic. They feed into their sound, they use their sound to their advantage, but they sing musically, they sing effortlessly, and they sing with heart and passion. So I'll leave you this evening with this rendition of Lullaby.
Time to close. ocean. I'm rocking you to sleep. The water's dark and deep inside this ancient heart. You'll always be a part of me. Good night, my angel. Now it's time to dream and dream how wonderful your life will be. Someday your child may cry, and if you sing this lullaby, then in your heart there will always be a part of me. Someday we'll all be gone, but lullabies go on and on. They never die. That's how you and will be.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. Oh man, that's a tough one to listen to. That's good. That's good. I have a case of allergies now, so good stuff. So thank you, gentlemen. I know Kenny and I have talked about this. I will not be here next week because, you know, the other important thing in my life, my children. My son has hockey tryouts next week. I know, hockey in Vegas. What a shocker. So I will be attending those. So we'll figure out something, or Kenny will, you know, show off his dancing skills or lack thereof. But thanks again for letting me entertain you with some of these stuff, and we will hit this again in 2 weeks with a few more quartets to listen to.
All righty. Thank you so much, Jim. Guys, give Jim a big round of applause. That's fantastic. Just constantly impressed with what you do for the course, Jim. So thank you so much, really.
Absolutely.
So that was great. Next week we'll come up with a plan and we'll figure it out. So plan on being here next week because we do have a couple of, well, we have the Marine Corps thing to do in November, and we had possibility of another thing coming up, I think, in December. So, but we'll see. So we still need to kind of keep up our repertoire, so to speak. So we'll be going over some music next week in sectionals. And I'll just clear that with Ed and Jim, and that's what we'll take away for next week. So is there anything for the good of the chapter? Yes, Wally.
Let's remember that the second reading will be next week. Pass the word. See if we can get more people.
All right. Yeah, Fred's going to put something out this week. So anything else for the good of the chapter? Other than Wally reminding you of something you should already know. I know, Wally. Welcome back. Come on. We really like having you back. So
Was
Tell you
I
what-
gone?
well, yeah, physically, yeah.
Oh,
kind of
okay.
went by your house and you weren't there, but that's okay.
I don't know how to look at you without a treadmill behind you.
I know. I never
We
use.
didn't go in your house, Wally.
Yeah, I did. Did you notice I cleaned out the fridge?
That was my son who did it, but okay.
All right. Well, tell you what, guys. If you guys want to, Tommy, if you guys want to stick around, great. Grab yourself a libation or something. We can sit and chit chat.
I didn't know it was your date night.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's just me and Tommy here. Renee went to California to visit her sister, who's quarantined herself for 2 weeks, anticipating Renee come out. So I've been by myself. So at any rate, that's it for tonight. So if you guys want to stick around, stick around. Oh, I'm sorry, Ed. Did you want to do? Well, we're losing people, but did you want to do a sectional? I mean,
Meeting?
crap.
Good night.
Music team.
No, good night.
Okay.
Nighty night.
Night, guys.
Night, everybody. Have a blessed week, okay?
Thank you, sir.